Hello again, everyone, and welcome once again to the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, and on the line with me today, a very good friend of mine, the man you might have heard me on his show, Snowman in the Morning, Snowman Digital Media. Make sure you go like and subscribe to his YouTube page. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Snow. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on, man. I got a couple of questions for you. We're gonna dive a little bit into the NFL, then we're gonna wrap up with the NBA.
All
The
right.
first I want to ask you, I want to get your thoughts on Deshaun Watson.
Can it stop, please? Can someone just can look? I I get the fact that Deshaun and I've had a chance to think about. I've slept since I have expressed my thoughts on Deshaun Watson. Okay.
Okay.
How do I put this succinctly? Hurry up, man. I mean, Deshaun
Uh,
Watson, in a way, and I mean this playfully, is holding us hostage.
he
Make a
is.
decision and go, will you please? Good Lord.
At the end of the day, it's up to
Everybody's going to
him.
be content. Everybody's going to be contending for a quarterback that threw for 4,000 yards despite having a porous offensive line. And
Yep.
when I say porous,
Yep.
it's more porous than the Chicago Cubs defense in the ninth inning against the Milwaukee Brewers in a division championship game.
I
That's
remember
how
that game.
porous that is.
I remember that game. Oh my goodness, man.
One apiece in the ninth inning, and then
Yeah, he was that. At the end of the day, my only issue with it, he signed that extension, and if he wouldn't have signed that extension, he would have been gone. But
yeah, Bill O'Brien's the reason for that.
yep, yep,
Ugh.
yep. But I think it's kind of interesting that in the league, you have a kid, 25 years old, has a chance to go be a major game changer.
Yep.
With any other team in the league, it's just crazy, man. I know my Saints can't get into this, but your 49ers might be able to get into it.
Next question. I'm look. You know entirely too well. You know me entirely too well, and my thoughts on the Bears. Okay, my team's the 49ers. I
I
don't
know you see
expect
the
the
49ers.
49ers to go after Deshaun Watson. I mean, they got Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody wants to
Yeah,
say, get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay? The year that Jimmy Garoppolo took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, he did throw for 3,900 yards. He did
he
throw
did.
27 touchdowns. He
He did.
did lead them to Miami in the
He
Super
did.
Bowl.
He did.
Okay?
He did.
Deshaun Watson has the capability, he has the talent, he's got everything he needs. And the one thing he did not have, the one thing he did not have was an offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Still staying with this I don't know farce of an NFL team in the Houston Texans. J.J. Watt has been granted his release. What do you think J.J. Watt's going to end up going?
I want to be sure. That's why I put the headset back on. I want to be sure that I hear the question before I completely go off on it. I want to be sure I heard it.
uh, while we move on to back onto the farce of the Houston Texans,
That's an
J,
understatement.
yes, J.J. Watt has been granted his release. Where do you think
About
J.J. Watt
time.
is? Well, I know, right? After all these years, where do you think J.J. ends up?
Will somebody make a decision on that, please? Everybody's saying Cleve. I've heard everything from Cleveland. God help me. I understand Cleveland coming up finally after 20 some odd years. But I have three choices. I have three choices. Green Bay, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo, with San Francisco being a wild card. J.J. Watt wants to win.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even put him in Green Bay, even though he's from Wisconsin.
Mm.
Okay, how many times have Green Bay have? You know how I am. I'm on the air 4 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, you've heard some of the things I've said
Yes.
and why people get mad at me.
Yes.
The first time I mentioned J.J.Watt in San Francisco, I got plowed.
I don't know why. Because it's viable.
I got smacked by comments saying, there's no way he'd go to San Francisco. Imagine J.J.Watt opposite Nick Bosa.
That's why I say it's
Imagine
possible.
J.J.Watt in the defensive backfield with Solomon Thomas up front opposite Bosa, and all you tell Watt to do is to sick him.
Yep. Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. It's very viable. It's very.
And the greatest part is he was released.
Yep.
So it ain't gonna cost the 49ers anything.
Nope. Nope.
Make him a special. And please don't let him go to Pittsburgh. That's a farce waiting to happen. God, dog. I mean, let me put my mobile headset on. That farce waiting to happen. This year didn't prove anything. Anything.
Mm.
I don't trust Pittsburgh after week 11. Period.
True that. I feel you.
How the hell are you going to trust How the hell are you going to trust the Pittsburgh Steelers when they barely got by the Baltimore Ravens to go 11-0 after the game had been pushed 3 times?
Yeah.
This 2020 NFL season was a farce. Period. Listen, go on, please. Before I say something I got no business saying, and people are going to hear about it tomorrow anyway, when I sit behind the microphone for 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know they're going to hear it.
I know.
They're going to hear it.
They're going to hear it.
They're going to get it. They're going to get it. This 2020 sports season has been a cross between a Nolan Ryan fastball and a Tom Candiotti knuckleball. I've had more knuckleballs thrown at me.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I'm going way.
One thing I do want to ask you about the NFL, real quick. Has Urban Meyer already been proven a failure by by this recent hire, and then the guy will step down because of backlash? I don't know.
Does Ohio State tell you? I'll answer that question before you finish it. Does Ohio State tell you anything?
I don't know what they thinking. What is Urban Meyer thinking, man?
You just put the key word at the end of your question.
He ain't doing it.
You just put the key word at the end of your question.
He's not doing it. He's not thinking.
I would like 2 things to happen this offseason to get back to normal. I would like J.J.Watt to be signed by the 49ers to a 3-year deal. And I'd like for somehow, some way, Trevor Lawrence, since people want to say Garoppolo should be gone, okay, fine. Before I put up my middle finger, say, how about this? Trevor Lawrence falling to San Francisco. Trevor Lawrence in that system. You want to piss me off? There you go.
All right, enough of that NFL stuff. Let's move over to the NBA very, very quickly. We got 2 centers that right now are not in their team's respective lineups because they're about to be dealt or released. Where do you think Andre Drummond ends up?
Golden State. Man. Just to piss people off.
Damn, man.
I'm throwing bombs, okay?
Just to piss everybody off, Golden State.
Just to piss the NBA off during this pandemic season. Andre Drummond somehow ends up in San Francisco for a minute package that doesn't include anybody that's on the roster already, just to piss him off. Just to shut people off. Just to shut people up.
Right. That'd be amazing if that happened. That would be amazing if that
I would
happened, bro.
laugh. I would laugh my ass off if that
Ooh,
happened. That's going to
ooh.
be a subject on my quick hit segment tomorrow. That's going to be one of my three major subjects on my quick hits tomorrow, and
Okay,
that'll be during hour two.
okay.
Hell, you may hear another session during hour four. You never know.
But if they give Cleveland one of their young players, who Cleveland is obviously going to youth movement anyway, why not?
Mhm.
Why
Take somebody deep on the bench and send them to
not?
Cleveland and say, "Hey, Andre, come here for a minute." And then you really piss him off, and you call up Miami and say, "Hey, Andre Iguodala, come here."
Oh, come on back. Come on back home.
Look, Iguodala was good in Philadelphia.
Mhm,
He was okay in Denver. He
mhm.
blossomed at Golden State.
He
Why
did.
don't people realize this?
He did.
And I have a question. I have a question for you, and it's a question
Mhm,
I've asked often that really gets on my nerve.
mhm.
Why doesn't John Taylor have a Hall of Fame bust right now?
You know what? I don't know. I don't
Why
know.
doesn't Roger Craig have a Hall of Fame bust right now?
Roger should. Roger should. I agree with you on both of those. I agree with you on both of those.
They both should be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yep.
Both of them.
Yep.
Matter of fact, here's a fact. Look, people want to talk about Black History Month. How about this for Black History? Jerry Rice and John Taylor are the first HBCU tandem to start a Super Bowl,
I
and they
like
did
that.
it 3 times.
Yep. Yep.
They did it 3 times,
Yep.
and no one wants to acknowledge John Taylor. Look, I love me some Jerry Rice.
Mm,
Okay,
mm.
Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver to ever do it. How about some love for John Taylor? Will you
Yeah.
please?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about some love for John Taylor?
I agree.
How
I
about some
agree.
love for the receiver that's supposed to be that was supposed to be the second option and still holds the Monday night record of not one but two 90-yard touchdown passes?
I agree.
No one
I
wants to
agree.
talk about no one wants to talk about that.
That's a good point. That's a
No
good
one wants
point.
to talk about that.
That's a good point. And finally, the guy we're gonna finish up with. I want to know where you think Blake Griffin's gonna end up. Now, keep in mind, but before you give your answer,
Hit the road,
keep it.
Jack, and don't you come back no more.
The man
You've
hasn't
had
dunked.
your time.
The man
You've
hasn't
had your
dunked.
time.
The man hasn't dunked a basketball in over a year.
Yeah, that should tell you something right there. That should tell you something right there. Blake Griffin hasn't dunked in a year. Let that sink in a minute. Blake Griffin has not dunked in a year.
A
Dot dot
year.
dot. What the hell is wrong with this picture?
You think he should go home to the Clippers?
As they say in America, are you kidding?
Oh man. But I do think Andre has something left in the tank, though. I think he can do Golden State or the Nets well. I just don't know what the Nets would give
The
for him.
Nets.
I just don't know what the Nets would give for him. They
You
don't
want
really
to
have
send him?
anything.
You want to send him to Siberia instead of heaven?
Why it's gotta be Siberia, man? Oh my
Do you
god.
honestly want an answer to that
I
question?
already know. I already know.
You
Oh
know my
my
knowledge
god.
by now, and I already
Yes.
know. People want to say, "Oh, the Nets are coming out of the East." Baloney. I ain't buying it. If the Nets come out of the East, they're in New Jersey.
They got
Those
so
Nets come out of the East.
yeah,
They are.
yeah. The Jason Kidd led Nets is coming out. Exactly.
those those Nets will come out of the. Buck Williams and the Nets will come out of the East before these Nets will. James Harden looks like a chocolate kiss. Kevin Durant's got the entire borough of Brooklyn on his shoulders.
Yeah, bro.
Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving, and we don't know what the hell Kyrie Irving is at this point in time.
Right. Oh
You
man.
you wonder why. You wonder what the hell is going on. But first of all, have the Nets done anything since they've been to Brooklyn? No. Have the Nets done anything to try to compete since they came to Brooklyn? No.
Mm-mm.
Does Steve Nash know what he's getting into with all these egos? Hell no.
And on that note, I'm up against a break. Everyone, I want to thank Brian Snow, Snowman in the Morning, Snowman Digital Media. Check my man out on YouTube. Where are you going? You have a show tomorrow?
8 a.m.
There we go. There we go. Check my man out, Brian Snow. Brian, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.